The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League.
Run the ball when you want to. Stop the run. Throw it over their heads. Keep it from doing it. It's the process. We had a great week. What did you expect was going to happen on Sunday? We had a great day, okay? You guys battled the whole time. I know they got some stuff there on us at the end, guys, but it's about appreciating each other, playing for each other, and trusting this process. What's our standard? Maintain the standard. We don't change. We don't change that at all. Everybody good? Yes, sir. By the way,
Boss man. Game ball.
Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle. Kristen Balboni, Thomas Davis here with head coach Dave Canales. Coach, we started the show with that amazing locker room speech to the guys after the big win. Talk us through it.
I live for that moment. I live for any chance that I can get to celebrate the accomplishment of a great job well done. And it all goes back to a great week of practice. It's been the challenge of this early part of our season to capture our play style on a daily basis. We have our work Wednesday. We have our turnover Thursday. Again, it's a turnover Thursday, TD, because the defense got a few from us last week. So it stays that way for a week. If we shut them out, it goes no turnover Thursday. So the defense did a great job there. And then Focus Friday is the challenge, because that's when you combine first, second, third down, red zone, short yardage, goal line, all those different scenarios. And so whenever we get a chance to have that success show up on the field, to celebrate the win, to celebrate the guys that showed up in that, like that's truly what I live for, to show them, see guys, see what we can do when we all work together and we capture the work that it takes to set the standard that we have to continue to uphold weekly.
One guy that really stood out to me defensively was Mike Jackson. You know, you guys made a trade for him late in the summer. He had 9 tackles, an interception, phenomenal game for a guy against a guy like Davante Adams. What were some of the things that you guys saw in him that made you want to trade for him, and how do you guys feel about him now that we have him?
The consistency, you know, I was able to be with him for a bunch of years, and Mike Jack just sneakily stays on top, and he's close to the ball. And he just has that work mentality. You know, I just watched him battle through things. He wouldn't miss practice. He was always out there through training camp, all the things. He came in here and did the same thing. Ajero challenged the defense to rally, to finish at the ball. Mike Jack took that challenge personally and really showed up that way in the run game, in the pass game. And I can't talk about Mike Jack without talking about JC, who's just sneakily having just a phenomenal year. Being so dependable and giving us flexibility in what we can do defensively. You know, Ajero has had a great plan to be able to handle Davante, to be aware of Brock Bowers and you know, just how they were going to try to use them in the pass game. But you know, it all started with stopping that run. Win first down, and we did that consistently, putting them into pass situations, and our pass rushers were able to affect the quarterback as the game went on.
All right, well, of course, TD is going to talk about the defense, but I want to go back to the offense and Andy Dalton. Incredible day, made some incredible throws. TD and I are going to break some of them down at the board later. But did you have a favorite throw from him in this game if you had to pick?
It for sure was a touchdown to Thielen. Yeah. I think it was the situation. We pride ourselves on being really efficient in 2 minutes because we believe in our system. We work at it all the time. We work at it on Wednesday and Thursday. Put these guys in really difficult scenarios. And, you know, Deontay had a fantastic catch, took it back across, got us into striking distance, you know, and like we were right there in that area, 33 seconds on the clock with a timeout in my pocket. And I'm like, okay, what can we do here? And then Thielen, you know, who got injured on the play, but, you know, Andy just put the perfect amount of air on the ball. Thielen ran a perfect route, things that we've been working on for a couple of weeks, and, you know, came out of it going into the half with a touchdown. I mean, I think that probably just the culmination of the situation, the blocking up front, the execution of the throw and the catch, you know, was just a really cool glimpse of a bunch of guys really dialed into the situation.
Coach, so you just talked about Adam Thielen, and it was just announced that we put him on IR. Huge loss for the offense. You know, could you talk to us about who you expecting to step up in his absence, and what can these guys bring to the table to replace a guy like Adam Thielen?
Yeah, first of all, there's no replacing Thielen. You know, just the professionalism, the work ethic, you know, the things that we point to for our standard of play, those types of things. And he'll still have that impact as he's around us and talking to the guys, and he'll represent that for us, you know, and I'm sick that he can't be a part of these next couple of weeks for us as we continue to just find our identity and really hone in on it. I can't wait to see the guys respond. Jonathan Mingo, here we go. David Moore, let's go. Xavier Legette, let's go. These are all guys. We just put Jalen Coker up on the 53-man roster, you know, a guy that has shown us some real good stuff that we want to see if he can come bring it to life. But we have that next man up mentality, and we develop everybody on our roster and challenge them to be engaged in our game plans. So I'm really excited to see the guys that step into that role.
Well, Coach, and certainly we are looking forward to the time that Adam Thielen can get back on the field with all of you. We know he is too. All right, right now we are going to take a look at some of the best plays from last week's game in this week's Bojangles Rewind.
Carlson approaches, swings the leg. Legette fields a yard deep in his own end zone. He'll run it out. Across the 15, he's got the 20, zigzags out to the 30-yard line. A nice little spark. Dalton takes the snap. Raiders bring a delayed blitz, finds Thielen on a quick hitter underneath. The snap, the fake to Hubbard. Sanders picks up the blitz. Throw, and that is caught by Deontay Johnson in Raider territory. And already Andy Dalton and this offense has a little mojo, has a little rhythm. Dalton changing the play at the line, backs into the shotgun, Hubbard off his right hip. The snap. Raiders bring a twist, screen pass, right side Chuba, gets a block, has the 5, Amtrak's into the end zone for a Carolina touchdown. Minshew back to throw, launches deep down the seam, and it is caught. Trey Tucker brings it in. Offset eye, Bryant is the fullback. Snap, handoff, plowing forward, a 2-yard run by Alexander Madison, and the Raiders a point after from tying this game at 7. Here's the snap, pressure off the backside. Dalton floats one, end zone. Deontay Johnson, back right corner, hangs on, touchdown Carolina. Knee-high snap, Minshew looking, throws, incomplete, wanted Bowers, broken up by Mike Jackson. The Panthers take over just inside their own 40. Here's the snap, pocket holds, Andy throwing, downfield, Thielen! Did he hang on? Touchdown! This will be a 57-yard field goal. It would match a career long. The snap, the hold, the kick, it is up and no good.
Let's go.
And that takes us to halftime.
It's about as good as you can start.
Corbett, the shotgun snap, fake to Chuba. Throw, downfield, Johnson reaches up, makes the catch. He's got the 50, stiff arm, and he slips at the 49 of Vegas. They'll mark him at midfield. Deontay Johnson, 5 catches, 101 yards for the Panthers. Minshew out of the shotgun, dancing around in the pocket, steps up and sacked. LeBron Ray, first one in there, looking to add on to a 20-point lead. They go back to the shotgun. Sanders off the left hip of Dalton. The snap to give to Sanders, reaching for the goal line, and he is in for a Carolina touchdown. Minshew takes the knee-high snap out of the gun. Looks right, throws right, intercepted, picked off. Mike Jackson gets his first interception as a Carolina Panther, and the Panthers get the ball back in plus territory. And on a week where everybody had everything to say about the Panthers, the critics were out, they were loud. Andy Dalton delivers with 300-plus yards and 3 touchdowns, and Dave Canales gets his first win as an NFL head coach.
Coming up, Coach Canales and the crew look ahead to this week's matchup against Joe Burrow and the Bengals on the Panthers Huddle. This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
Welcome back to the Huddle. Here still with Coach Canales. Coach, we got to talk about the Bengals now. So as you are getting the team ready for this game, what are you preaching to them as the most important thing to come away with a win?
You know, I always talk about the ball, but if we're going to talk about the Bengals specifically, it starts with Zach Taylor. Just a brilliant offensive mind, but really a leader. I've had a chance to get to know him over the years, and just the practical way that he goes about football, you know, and they're an attacking style of football as a team, really offensively, the multiplicity of what they do in the pass game, some of their gun runs, they can get under center and do that as well. And defensively with Lou Anarumo, just some of the ways that they try to attack, you know, and specifically about the offense, you know, got to talk about Joe Burrow, got to talk about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you know, it's kind of the feature, the focal point of what they do. And then they got a bunch of other pieces, really too many to name, you know, just in terms of the variety of personnels that they can use to try to attack us. So certainly a challenge for us to match up against a team that really has smart football, a group that I've watched and studied for a couple of years now, and just some of the situational ball and the things that they use to attack other teams.
Coach, you talked about the offense, and I know that's your side of the ball, but my side of the ball, defensively, we have a guy, former player Von Bell, on their defensive side. So we kind of know what Von is capable of. But who are some of the other guys that you identify defensively for Cincinnati that we have to pay close attention to?
Really, it starts up front, talking about Hubbard and Hendrickson, two guys with fantastic motor, just that never quit mentality, and the way that they use them. They can drop them in coverages. They can stand them up and use them as a spinner and just rush for. They got a great toolbox of pass rush skills, and they're really tough against the run. So I got to talk about them. You mentioned Von Bell. Lou Anarumo, defensive coordinator. It really requires intelligent safety play to get the guys lined up in the variety of defenses that they use, particularly on third down. They're going to give you a bunch of different challenging looks, you know, just watching the Commanders game last week and the way that they, try to attack them and create problems for their offense, you know. So it's an attacking style. They're physical. They take pride in that part. And again, another great test and matchup for us to see if we can continue to set the expectation of the energy and toughness we want to play with.
And Coach, I'm just wondering about this Bengals team. They are 0-3, but I think we all know that they're a better team than 0-3. What do you tell the guy? I mean, do they come in with extra juice? Do you imagine that they have a chip on their shoulder? And how do you address that with our team?
I really can't think about the Bengals in terms of their energy and their mentality of how they want to play. I have to focus on recapturing another great week. It's about us. It's about having another great Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just like we try to shoot for every week. We don't want to underestimate any opponent. We don't want to overestimate any opponent. We want to make it about us and our execution. Can we do right longer than the opponent? Can we find our style? Can we trust our process and capture another great week to expect the results?
When I look at this Cincinnati offense, they seem like a team to me that I would try to force to run the ball versus forcing them to pass the ball because of the offensive weapons that you just spoke on. Has there ever been a mindset when you went into a football game to try to make a team one-dimensional from the other side of things, from the other perspective, and forcing them to become more of a running team and play a soft shell on the back end to take away some of the weapons that Cincinnati has?
I mean, it's a good approach just in general, right? You always look at what does this team do the best, and you have to focus your energy there. You have to say, what is their strength? How can we minimize this strength so that we can make them play the type of football that we want to on either side of it, you know, whether it's a strong coverage unit or a strong front from the offensive side or from the defensive side. What do they want to do? What are they hanging their hat on? Who are the players that they're depending on? And how can we mitigate some of those weapons that they might have in these different areas and special teams as well? Sometimes they have matchups on the perimeter. Sometimes they have rush matchups on punt or punt return. So I think it's a great point. You always kind of look at what they do the best so that you can find a way to kind of neutralize those parts of it.
Well, Coach, we are certainly looking forward to the game. We know a lot of legends will be in the house to watch this one. Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, TD.
Up next, step inside TD's film room as he breaks down some of our best plays from last week and analyzes the Bengals playmakers on the Panthers Huddle. Closed captioning for the Panthers Television Network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, providing premier eye and ENT care to North and South Carolina.
inside TD's film room. And TD, we know the importance of watching film. So we are going to take a look back at some of the Panthers' best plays from last week's game. And we are going to start with Andy Dalton to Deontay Johnson, one of those big touchdowns.
Listen, every time I talk to Andy, I remind him that he's the old man in the locker room. But this was Andy Dalton's coming out party, and he showed me that the old man still has a few tricks left in the bag. When you watch this throw and you watch the pressure that he was under, they brought a blitz, they brought an extra guy, but the way that he stands in this pocket and delivers this strike to where only Deontay can catch this pass, this is truly a thing of beauty as Andy Dalton stands in the pocket, puts the ball on the money. Look, just look at that. Like, that is true perfection. As a quarterback, you dream of being able to make a throw like this, and Andy Dalton did this in his first start of the season. Just watch the placement of this football. Look at that. Just look at this bucket that he's dropping this ball in. When you talk about phenomenal and you talk about making defenders look bad, only thing that you see is this receiver's eyes, and you see the ball dropping right in the bucket.
Yep. All right. And we got to take a look at another great touchdown. How about the one to Adam Thielen?
Listen, the one to the other old man, Adam Thielen. I think we know that you ended up hurting your hamstring. But to be able to continue to talk about Andy Dalton and the work that he did on Sunday, empty formation, coming out, you know that you got to, as a defender, I'm thinking the ball has to come out fast, right? Wrong. Not when Andy Dalton's back there putting the ball on the money. Just watch this throw. Just watch the placement of this football. A lot of people on the outside talked about this roster, talked about not being able to get it done. These guys up front are flat out getting it done. Look at this protection. Look at the pocket that he has, and look at the placement of this throw. I mean, the Raiders were completely baffled. They even got their coach talking some crazy stuff right now. That's what this Panther team did to the Raiders in Sunday's game. Just look at the placement of this throw to Adam Thielen and just watch it. Another throw where either our guy's going to catch the ball or nobody's going to catch the ball, and that's what you want to see from your quarterback.
Forcing the Raiders to make some business decisions.
Absolutely.
I think that was the quote. Now, the Bengals are coming into Bank of America Stadium on Sunday, and we know Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are a tough matchup here.
Listen, this is a team, when you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, I know what their record says, but this is a team that is not an indication of what their record says.
They're not an 0-3 team.
They have talent across the board. They have Jamar Chase, who we're getting ready to show you the connection that him and Joe Burrow, they created this connection way back in the LSU days, but they were also able to get this guy back who's extremely important, T. Higgins. But I want to show you guys the connection between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase didn't participate in any practices all summer long because of a contract dispute. We understand, we know that. But one thing about these two, when they get on the field together, they instantly have magic. You'll see them. To me, it doesn't look like Jamar Chase is running very fast, kind of lulling the defender to sleep, but immediately turns on the Jets, and Joe Burrow drops the ball right in the bucket. We talked about that bucket earlier. This is another guy that's capable of doing it. So we got to make sure that we know where Jamar Chase is at all times, at all points on the field, because he is a true #1 receiver. He is their go-to guy. But like I said, they got T. Higgins back. They got some other weapons. We got to make sure when they come into Bank of America, we know where that guy is at all times.
Absolutely. Cannot wait to see that game on Sunday. TD, it is always a pleasure to get to watch film with you. Thank you.
Thanks, you.
When we return, TD will give us his 3 keys to victory against the Bengals on the Panthers Huddle.
Okay, without further ado, it is time now for Thomas Davis's Coke 3 keys to this week's game against the Bengals. We're going to start with number 3.
Yes, KB. My Coke 3 keys starts with number 3. The number 3 thing that this football team has to do, we have to quiet the noise. We got to understand that there were a lot of people in the first 2 weeks that had no faith. They did not believe in us at all. But now we come out, we have some success in our 3rd game, and there are going to be a lot of people that are going to start to jump on the bandwagon a little bit. We cannot allow any complacency to take place because we're playing a team that is 0-3. They're coming into our house. We cannot allow any complacency to take place, so we have to quiet the noise. Number 2, we must win the turnover battle. We have to force those guys to turn the football over, and we have to make sure that we're taking care of the football. If we do that, the team that usually wins the turnover battle usually wins the football game. It has withstood the test of time, and it continued to show up on Sunday. We won the turnover battle. We won the game. And our number one key for this week, we are celebrating 30 years of Panther football. We're going to have about 60 or 70 former players that have set the standard. They have set the tone for what Panther football should be like. We carried the torch, they carried the torch, and now we're looking for these guys on the team now to continue to carry that torch and defend our dirt and make sure that nobody comes into Bank of America Stadium thinking that it's going to be an easy day. We got to make sure that Cincinnati understands and know what the standard of Panther football really is, and I think we're starting to get to that point where we develop that tradition.
Ooh, I cannot wait for this Sunday's game. Well, on behalf of this Panthers legend, Thomas Davis, I am Kristen Balboni. Of course, we want to thank Coach Dave Canales for joining us in studio. We will see you next week, but until then,
keep pounding.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.